All right, solar system, wiring upgrade. As you can see, you know, I got all my wires just going everywhere. I just wanted this stuff to work, but I'm gonna try to make it look a little better. I'm gonna put a wireway in, because as you can see, you know, my wiring is kind of a mess. So it all does work. It's not hurting anything. It's out here in the shed. Nobody's going out here except for me, really. So it's not really hurting anything, but I just want to straighten all this stuff up, put a wireway in, and see if it improves the kind of the flow back here a little bit and covers everything up, makes it maybe a little safer. So of course, the first thing I'm gonna do is make sure all this stuff is safe. So I'm gonna start checking voltages, make sure everything is disconnected like I think it is, still safe with all that stuff. Hey, we're gonna start taking everything apart. All right, no voltage on anything. All right, let's see if we can move this thing up a little bit maybe. Go ahead and cut all these zip ties off. All right, I'm pulling my EV charger wire. I had to make it a little longer because I moved the box up a little higher. It was down here, move up a little higher so it'll be above my my batteries if I want to roll it under this way. I use a little bit of this flexible conduit just to put my EV charge wire in. Take this one out that I had in. Bam. All right, got this fitting on here for the flexible conduit. All right, this EV cable is extended since I moved my box up. Bam, good to go. Let's keep on. Let's move this box out the way a little bit. All right, finally getting it partially clear. Moved around a couple things and still got some stuff to take apart, and we're gonna see what we need to do to get room for the Raceway. Let's go ahead and finish disconnecting this thing. All right, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with my bus bar, my Victron bus bar here. And I think I just want to lower it down a little bit just so I don't have to kind of rewire a whole bunch of stuff. And then I can take my Raceway and just put it right here below the inverters. So we're gonna go ahead and just pick up the Raceway and just kind of see if it looks like it's gonna fit right here and how far I'm gonna have to move this bus bar down. I don't think I have to go down too much. I do want to have enough room to hook all these other cables up. So probably drop it down a few inches and then go ahead and put the Raceway up there to kind of see how it looks. So let's go ahead and loosen this bus bar up. So leave all the cables and everything hooked to it. I got all the batteries off and I have already checked it. As you can see, that's pretty hard to get these holes drilled in here. That's why I bought this thing, but I couldn't get it to work. You know, I drained the air out until the oil started coming out and hooked it all up, and it just won't go through this. I've seen people online doing it with this exact same model, so I don't know what's going on. I must have got a dud. So basically I'm just using this stepper bit. Definitely a little aggravating trying to drill all these holes. So we'll see how far I get. All right, another one down, only about, I don't know, might be doing about 10 more. I'm gonna see. The one on the end, I might just leave this one here and do the flexible stuff to that, just going into the end. But we'll see as I go. I'm just making this up as I go along. cut me a couple of more of these. This is going a lot slower than I thought it would. When you don't have quite the right tools for the job, I'm having to use the drill and the step bit basically to make the holes big enough in the inverters and to make my holes in my wireway to get the stuff to fit. I thought these were 3/4, but they were to seem bigger than half. But anyway, I'm working on getting these in. 1 minute, those things to get started quick. The next minute, it takes you 2 or 3 minutes to get the thing going. A little aggravating. Not the best fittings in the world, I guess. Maybe I should have went with the plastic ones. So basically the plastic fittings, let's see if I can get you to one, you know, like these with the flexible conduit, those cost a lot more than these metal ones. You know, you can buy a piece of this metal, I don't know, maybe 5 foot was about $7 or $8 or something like that. I still got to tighten it down. And you know, these fittings might have been like less than $1. This fitting over here is, I think it's about $3 or $4. Flexible conduits cost a lot more too. So trying to be cost conscious a little bit with all this is, I mean, it's gonna be a few $100s, you know, with this Raceway, which was most of the cost. And then if I have to buy a little more wire, I'm trying to reuse all the wire that I used before, but if I had to reuse, you know, buy some new wire, I'll buy it by the foot. The price shouldn't be too bad, but all in all, maybe I have about, I don't know, about a little over $200 in this, I guess. Maybe 220, 230, 240, something like that. I'd have to add it all up. It would be better to use a vise, but my vise is in my garage, and I'm not in the garage. I'm in the shed. And bam, get to zoom in on that with a piece of conduit. All right, what I've been doing to kind of line this up market is, so as you can see now, my conduit is a little bit bigger, a little bit longer basically, you know. So now I can kind of slide it in here, get down on the Raceway. Well, I did get it. Now you can see it's kind of lined up with the case, and now you can see where you need to mark and put your holes. So let's go ahead and mark that real quick. And basically you see my little half circle mark, so I can know where to center these punch holes at. As you can see, I bought the wrong one. I bought the one with knockouts, the Raceway. That was by mistake, but I've still been able to make it work. As you can see down here, you know, that one I went over a little bit, but you know, I can beat that little part right there back down. It should be fine. All right, now that I got them all marked, I was gonna go ahead and take my inverter back out. That way I can easily drill the holes. Now let's try to drill these holes. You'll probably be better off drilling a pilot hole, but I'm just rolling with it. This one's supposed to be able to go right through it. 1 down and 3 to go for the second inverter. And if you're trying to make videos and you have a small space, it is definitely aggravating. I wish I had a big old building I could put all this stuff in, have plenty of room. I don't. I have this little piece of this wall over here, this little corner, and that's what I'm working with. So it's a little bit hard to film, but hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Just trying to clean up a little bit as I go, and it might give my drill a minute to cool down. I do have a better impact wrench, but you're not supposed to use that with the step bit that I got from Harbor Freight, so I'm using my old school regular drill. I usually use my little impact for everything, this little Makita. This thing works pretty good. It's a Black & Decker, not so much, but I have a bunch of batteries for it, so we're rolling with it for now. All right, ready to cut a couple more of these. But let's go ahead and start on this wiring and see how we do. All All right, as you see, starting to come together. I've already started on the wiring on this one over here. Now we're gonna go ahead and see if we can get this second one over here hooked up. If I got enough wire, because I'm trying to reuse everything I used before without having to go buy any more wire, like most people are gonna try to do. I probably will have to buy some for my third inverter, but we'll see when we get to it. Let's go. All right, remember I'm not an electrician, so you have to figure out how to hook up your stuff on your own. But basically your output's gonna be back here at the back. You got your L1, L2, and a ground. All right, now I'm working on running some new wire for the PV for both the inverters. Run right here, down here to the disconnect switch. Basically you can run PV wire to the thing on the outside. Once you get on the inside, you can change the wire if you want. So for right now, I'm just rerunning some wire, cut some new length. As you see, I got the wire there running it. Get ready to cut this off, connect it. All right, let's go ahead and run this wire down here. All right, and of course, I ran out of number 8 wire, and they had 0 at Lowe's when I went. So I'm probably gonna have to order it online or something to hook up my third inverter back here. So I'm gonna go ahead and hook up all the communication cables. For now, I'm just gonna hook them all up, make sure everything works. Then I'll probably try to organize this, make it look a little better. Maybe even potentially run it through the Raceway, but for right now, I'm gonna run it on the top. All right, time to do a little testing to see if this stuff is all connected right. I've checked it a couple times, hopefully everything's good. But I'm gonna go ahead and turn one of the batteries on and check the voltage on the inverters, make sure all that looks good. Then I'll probably do one inverter at a time, turn it on, make sure I have my correct voltage over here in my panel. And if everything looks good, I'll continue on and check the second one. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Turn on one of the batteries and see what happens. Let's go ahead and try it out, I guess. All right, let's go ahead and kick on this first inverter. Bam, power's on. We're to see once it gets kicked on over there. Gonna measure the voltage and see what we got. My sub panel's a mess. I'm not an electrician. So, you know, this is just for my power distribution for my solar, completely off grid. So let's see what we got. 240 volts. So that's right. Let's go ahead and kick on the auto transformer and the inverter. Nothing flipped out, so that must be working. So let's check leg to leg up here. 240 volts. Leg to neutral, 120. Leg to neutral, another 120. Looks like inverter number 1, at least, you know, with its output from the batteries is working. I have to try the solar tomorrow because the sun's already pretty much went down. All right, let's go ahead and kick this first inverter off and flip the breaker on the second inverter to see what happens. No faults yet with the second inverter. It's kicking on. No faults, bam. Kicking out power to the panel. Let's go ahead and check the panel, see what we got. 240 volts. All right, let's go ahead and kick on the auto transformer and that breaker. Let's see what we got here. Bam, 120 volts. Let's check this other leg. 120 volts, 240 and 120. So everything looks good on inverter number 2. So I guess we'll see if both of them work together. I guess that'll be the next step. Let's kick on this inverter. We'll see if they match up and sync. And see if one, so that one's saying SL1. So it looks like they're probably connected. That one's saying HSE, which it means it's gonna take over as the main right now. So once this one gets kicked over and starts pushing out power to the breaker, we'll flip that breaker on, see if we're running any problems. All right, breaker number 1, bam, on. Looks to be connected. Everything seems to be working. Got power out to my plug, power to my surge protection. All right, since everything I got right now to connect seems to be working, I'm gonna go ahead and put a couple of the panels on, dress this thing up a little bit, and then start charging my car from the batteries. And because I just went to Lowe's and stuff and I need to charge my car. Show you all that. All right, we're gonna make sure this EV plug is working, so I just turned that on. We'll go outside and check it. All right, 240 volts. 120. 120. My 240 volt EV plug seems to be working. I'm gonna go ahead and kick on the rest of the batteries. I'm just gonna kick them on one at a time, make sure I don't have any problems with any of those. I didn't really do anything with those. I did move some cables around on my Victron bus bar down here. Everything should be fine though. All right, as you can see, all the batteries are on. Still gotta clean some mess up. All of these are on. Oh. Just turned that last one on. Everything's on and working right now. One thing I have to try tomorrow is the solar and put everything back together and put my Chargeverter in. Just gotta figure out where I'm gonna put it. I think I'm gonna put it right down here at the bottom. All right, as you can see, I got 2/3 of it running. Still gotta find some of that 8-gauge wire. My wire I have right now is not long enough, and Lowe's, of course, doesn't have any. So this is pretty much what it's gonna look like. You know, it looks a little cleaner with the Raceway. I'm gonna zip tie some of the cables and do a few little things and do some cleaning up. I might run that flexible conduit for this right here, the transformer. We'll just see how I feel. I bought the wrong size conduit. I bought 3/4 thinking that all these fittings were 3/4, and they're all a half. So if you wanna make it easy on yourself, get a half, and then just have to make sure your battery cables will fit through there. Not too bad if I'd have had everything I needed to complete the job. As you can see, it definitely does look a little cleaner than it did before, and especially once I get these communication cables zip tied. I'll let y'all check it out real quick. So the sub panel, my Victron bus bars, the inverters, the auto transformer, the communication cables. You know, I do need to zip tie that, try to clean that up some. And of course my third inverter, I don't have everything done over there, so you know that's gonna look just a little bit different once I'm done. So I'll run some conduit over there. Got some flexible conduit for that, and that's pretty much it. Definitely not as neat and clean as a lot of people's. I'm just not big on, you know, the perfection of it all. I guess I just want the stuff to work, but I did try to clean it up some since I am making videos, you know, in here, and this is my background. I'm trying to make it a little cleaner. And remember, if you like this kind of video, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and thanks for watching.